Happy New Year! 1 month later.
Yeah, it's like the end of January.
Well, luckily for us, the entire year's worth of movies still hasn't hit the theaters yet. So, we're still going to do our most anticipated movies of 2019 list. We are the Cinefanatics. My name is Chris Adams.
And I'm Robert Adams.
And like I said, this is the 2019 most anticipated movies, or at least our most anticipated movies.
So
or movies you should most anticipate.
Or more of just a general, this is what people are anticipating. Because, I mean, I probably am not going to go see Little Women at the end of this year, but who knows?
It might.
Yeah, possible.
It's basically just a really long list of movies that are coming out this year that we feel have some kind of buzz around them in some way. Whether good, whether bad, movies you should probably anticipate for some reason.
Nope.
I have this on a list down here on my laptop, which is off camera. We are going to be referencing it because, again, it's a long list of movies and there's no way we can just remember every single title. That being said, we're also going to block these off into sections, cover certain genres as we go. And some of them kind of bleed into each other a little bit, so you'll maybe catch that as we move on. But
especially if we point it out.
Yeah. So I say let's go ahead and jump into this here.
Which, I'd say the very first thing right off the bat is the fact that, like we were saying earlier, we're only about like a month into the year already.
Yeah.
So we've had movies already come out. One of the biggest, most anticipated movie that's already come out that we've already seen and filmed a review of, it's on our channel right now, is Glass.
You want to throw an iCard? Let's throw an iCard.
Let's throw an iCard on there. Sure,
Boom.
iCard.
It was interesting. Go check out our review for what we thought on it.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on from that one. So, since we're talking about superhero movies, let's do something a little bit different than what we did last year. Last time we did this video, we saved Avengers to last. Let's talk about Avengers first.
Yeah, we're going to do it first this time.
Avengers Endgame, probably one of
it's the
most hyped movies for the year.
It's one of two most anticipated movies this year.
We'll talk about that second one a little later. Still, we've had one trailer, which we have a reaction to that too, but we don't have any more information about this movie other than what's been shown in this trailer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hype level is at extreme heights.
The question is, how are all these Avengers going to take out Thanos after 10 years? This is such a huge deal they've gotten this far. We've mentioned it before. It's a big deal that Marvel has been able to pull this off, and this is the culmination of everything they've done and leading us into Phase 4. Definitely going to be one that you don't want to miss in the theaters. Do I even have to tell you that?
They're going to go see it anyways.
Yeah. So, one movie, though, that is leading into Avengers Endgame that we also want to make sure is, like, this is a big anticipated movie, too. Like, a huge one for Marvel. Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm. It's their first...
It has their name in it.
Yeah. Their first female-led superhero movie.
Yeah.
Kind of odd that one got made before, like, a solo Black Widow movie, but, well, whatever. In Feige, we trust.
Yeah.
So
he knows what he's doing, clearly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have the story of Carol Danvers. This is going to be her origin story, how she became Captain Marvel. Possibly the most powerful superhero in the entire MCU thus far. So,
nice use of thus.
Yes, thank you. So we're going to be using this as kind of the usher in our road into Avengers Endgame. So it's going to be key to know what happens in this movie going into that and then going into Phase 4.
Which is a very smart move on Marvel's part, because, I mean, we got the little nod to Captain Marvel at the end of Infinity War.
Yeah.
And they're kind of setting up, like, you're going to have to go see Captain Marvel if you want any chance of understanding what she is come Endgame time, because she's going to be a big part of Endgame. Just assuming that, and I'd say that's a pretty safe assumption.
I want to study up on how Marvel uses their movies to make commercials for other movies.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool when done right.
Yeah. Speaking of other movies that Marvel is producing.
Oh yeah, they got another one coming out this year, don't they?
After Endgame, we're going to usher into Phase 4 with Spider-Man Far From Home.
But he died in Infinity War.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Wait, he's coming back? Isn't that a spoiler for Endgame?
It's Spider-Man. Come on.
Like, they're going to stop that.
I mean, I kill Spider-Man. The reason I'm anticipating this is because of Mysterio. That is the villain I've been wanting on screen. Is he a villain? Oops. Shh. That's the villain I've been wanting on screen for Spider-Man for so long. We did trailer reactions to Spider-Man, also not doing an iCard. We have other videos. We did a trailer reaction to the trailer they released for it. It looks good. It looks interesting so far. Definitely going to be one to check out.
Yeah, I was just hyped up just to see how well that fishbowl helmet of his is going to translate to screen. Because I remember back in the 90s, we're like, yeah, that's not going to look good. So
I love that Marvel's gotten to a place where stupid stuff like that actually looks good.
Fishbowl helmet? Yeah, let's put that on the cinema screen.
We can make it work. We're Marvel. Speaking of making comic book movies work.
Also speaking of Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, also speaking of Captain Marvel. DC's version.
Shazam.
Oh yeah. Shazam. This movie looks like a ton of fun.
Yeah.
We've gotten a couple trailers already, or at least a trailer and a half.
Trailer and a sneak peek or something like that, whatever it was.
Yeah, this just looks like a ton of fun, and considering that DC is off a huge win with Aquaman, going into Shazam, expectations are high.
We had a fellow YouTube person comment down below on the sneak peek video that the Shazam storyline also is based off of the New 52 Shazam storyline.
Okay.
Which I didn't know that one, unfortunately. I did some research on, and yeah, that sounds like exactly what the Shazam movie is based on, and it sounds really good.
Plays up more the fact that he's actually a kid and not a full-grown adult.
Yeah.
That's what it looks in the trailer.
So, like in the comics, he's with his friend, and they're going and like trying to buy beer and stuff. The stuff that we've seen in the trailer so far. So it looks good.
Yeah, anything that mixes big with superheroes, I'm down for.
Yeah.
I was trying to find a segue for this. I can't really get anything off big. Hellboy is also a movie coming out this year.
Well, Shazam is based off the gods, and then if you have gods, then you have hell, and then I don't know. We're trying to get all philosophical on this. Hellboy.
I wasn't.
Hellboy, based off the Dark Horse comic book property, which was properly done twice already by Ron Perlman. So, I mean, it was done great, and supposedly Guillermo del Toro wanted to do a third Hellboy movie.
Yeah.
And they just decided to scrap that and just do a whole nother one. That has looks like it has a lot more campy, cartoonish humor.
Here's the thing,
into it.
Hellboy has never been a series I've really been excited about. I think I've seen both of the first two. Yeah, I know Hellboy's got his fans out there though. So those of you who are interested in Hellboy, you got this movie to look forward to.
Especially with David Harbour playing Hellboy, the makeup and stuff, he looks almost exactly like Ron Perlman as Hellboy too. So
yeah, I like Stranger Things.
Yeah. Speaking of Stranger stuff, movies that were supposed to be out already.
They were supposed to come out this last year. Nope.
Dark Phoenix, which apparently we're dropping the X-Men moniker from the title, so it's just called Dark Phoenix. So yeah, I don't know what to say about Dark Phoenix. It looks like it might be a rehash of X-Men: The Last Stand.
Ugh.
This one is actually being directed by Simon Kinberg, who was like the screenwriter for the previous X-Men movies.
Including Apocalypse?
Yes.
Oof.
So then you've got New Mutants, which again is kind of being played more towards like a horror movie.
It looks interesting, but again, I'm not a huge fan of the horror genre, so that kind of stuff doesn't really work for me.
But you know who is a fan of the horror genre?
That's why I'm going to let you take this next section.
So, moving on from superhero movies into the horror section, I want to kind of run through this really quick just because there's a lot I could talk about and I could just go off all day on some of these movies. But kind of still keeping in with, like, we just transitioned out of the superheroes. Now we get into super villains was Brightburn. This is a movie that it basically gives the idea of what would happen if Superman came to Earth, but he became a villain instead of a hero.
Yeah, he went bad.
The trailer looks exactly like the Superman origin story. Baby comes to Earth, lands in a farmland, and gets raised by farm folk.
They keep his UFO somewhere.
Yeah, they hide his ship. And then he gets powers as he gets older, but then he takes a left at Albuquerque.
Something psychotic goes wrong.
And he becomes a villain.
Yeah.
Looks interesting. It's a great idea.
It's a neat concept.
Us, the next one from Jordan Peele. Mm-hmm. Again, don't know exactly what to think of it. A family is being hunted down by doppelgangers
of
themselves. Great trailer. It looks good. I believe it's doing premiere at South by Southwest, which we're going to, so we might be checking that out.
We may get to see it. We don't know yet. We don't know how the premieres work at South by. This is our first time actually going to a film festival there, so we'll see if we get in.
We'll figure that out, and as we get closer to March, we'll find out. Zombieland 2. This is a movie that has taken 10 years to get to.
Incredibles 2?
Kind of like Incredibles 2, which was 14 years apart. Now we're like 10 years later, and we're finally going to get Zombieland 2. It's going to still be Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin.
Yep.
And supposedly, from what we've heard, like the zombies may have morphed a little. They've kind of evolved. So now we're getting to see how these four are going to deal with the zombies.
Oof.
Looking forward to that.
That'd be cool.
Pet Sematary. They're doing a remake of Pet Sematary, another Stephen King movie. Trailer looks good. I'm all up for it. It's been a while since I've watched the original, so I want to go back and watch that. But otherwise, the original one was a good movie. I'm looking forward to this one.
When I typed out this list, I did not realize that I just put the two Stephen King things next to each other.
Oh, speaking of Stephen King, It Chapter 2.
That transition worked well.
Yeah, it did. It Chapter 2 is going to be amazing. I loved the 2017 It. I think they did a wonderful job redoing that, essentially, even though it was basically redoing it from a made-for-TV movie, which really wasn't that scary, but it probably would have been if I actually watched it when I was a kid, when I was scared of horror movies.
They gave it the Stranger Things vibe as well.
Yeah, they did, by setting it in like the 80s or so. So this one's going to be another, I believe, like 27 years later, where all the kids are grown up. Fantastic cast in it. I can't wait to see like the first trailer for this because it's going to be so good. I think the last horror movie really is going to be Child's Play. Child's Play is one of my favorite horror movie franchises. They're doing some kind of a weird update where it's no longer a possessed doll. It's now a robotic doll that may have gone a little crazy. It's got Aubrey Plaza in it as the mom, so it's got like some big name stars.
She's making good career moves.
But I have no idea what to feel. They released the picture, an image of Chucky, and it just looks really weird. They're calling it the Buddy doll instead of Good Guy. I don't know. Just not sure what to feel about that.
I know what to feel about it. Not going to see it.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm not into horror movies.
But, I mean, since we're on the subject of child's playthings,
toys and the like. Also,
it comes out the same weekend as Child's Play.
Same weekend. We move into the animated genre with Toy Story 4.
Now, that's just good marketing right there.
It is great. I still have no idea if that was supposed to happen, if they meant that to happen, but
do you want good toys or bad toys? Which toy do you want?
It's working out. So here's the thing with Toy Story. That is one of the things that I grew up with. That's the movie I watched over and over and over again as a child. And they ended it well with Toy Story 3, so making a fourth one, there's a lot up in the air right now is, do we really need the fourth one? Well, all the stars in the movie have said they've read the script, they've done their lines, and they said it's going to bring a tear to our eyes. So
did the third one. I don't need any more tears from my eyes.
You know what? Pixar does gold most of the time, so I am ready for some more Toy Story tears. Speaking of tears, and toys...
Do you know what else gives a tear to your eye?
Laughing.
Stepping on a Lego.
And that too. Speaking of toys, we got Lego Movie 2. I'm sure it's called something else. Lego Movie Volume 2, Chapter 2, the second part. That's the second
part, yes.
God, I knew I'd stumble upon it.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yes, Electric Boogaloo. The first Lego Movie was great. Lego Batman was great. I never saw Ninjago. I'm looking forward to Lego Movie 2. Earlier reviews are saying that it is not as good as the first one, but it's still a good movie. That's got me pumped anyway.
The humor's still there. The trailers were kind of lacking until they showed off that one trailer where
Chris Pratt meets himself.
Yeah, Chris Pratt meets himself, who's like a raptor, archaeologist, a spaceman.
He's a raptor?
No, he's a raptor trainer. Yeah, whatever. I'm trying to fly through this.
Yeah, so Lego Movie 2 looks good. It looks entertaining, just like the first one was. Other movies that are getting sequels, there's actually 2 more on the animated list that are getting sequels this year. Secret Life of Pets 2. I really enjoyed the first one. I thought it was hilarious.
I thought it had some good moments.
then this isn't your movie. This is my movie.
But the Kevin Hart as the bunny rabbit, the evil bunny rabbit, was pretty funny, though.
Now, that being said, there's a little bit of controversy around this one with the main star, Louis C.K., being replaced by Patton Oswalt. I'm okay with that. Watching the trailer, it was clean. Didn't even notice. Didn't even notice he got replaced. So I'm ready for Secret Life of Pets 2. First one was hilarious. I'm ready for the second one. Frozen 2. I still haven't seen the first Frozen.
I saw it. It was okay.
I'm not a child.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Screw you. Right after I just said I saw it, I'm not a child.
No, but
younger brothers, jeez.
Frozen is one of Disney's highest grossing animated movies as of late, and definitely one that was gonna get a sequel. May even get a live action version at some point. I wouldn't be surprised.
At the rate that Disney's going with live action, I'm pretty
surprised.
Sure. Hey, while we're talking about Disney live action.
And animated.
Well, I mean, okay. So, we're going to touch upon the controversy of Lion King. It's their live action, but I mean, it's still a CGI.
The environment is animated, the animals are animated, but it's live action.
But it's shot as if it was a live action movie.
Exactly.
While keeping CGI animated aesthetics. I don't know if it's something, we might have touched upon this in our trailer reaction as well. The way I look at it is, for the most part, everyone considered Jungle Book, the Jon Favreau Jungle Book, to be live action, when the only thing that was really live action in that was Mowgli.
Yeah.
And I think a couple other little kids and humans
things
in there.
Yeah.
But everything else, all the other animals were CGI. So
while we're on the train of live action Disney movies, we got 3 of them coming out this year.
Jeez.
So not only just Lion King, we also got Dumbo.
Which Dumbo is done by Tim Burton.
Gonna have an interesting take on that.
Which is weird because from the trailers, it doesn't even look like Tim Burton's signature.
In places.
Maybe in some things, but I really don't see that Tim Burton-esque that you see in his movies, and it's... I don't know.
Aladdin, on the other hand, you're going to have Will Smith taking over for Robin Williams as the genie, and that's got a lot of people questioning this movie right now.
Yeah.
Especially since they released the photos and he's not blue in the photos because he's in his human form or something like that.
Yeah, even though he said there will still be a him blue, probably a CGI form. We've yet to see that.
Here's the thing: we're going to see both of these because they're going to be interesting nonetheless. I do want to see how these properties translate to a live action feel.
Other family movies that I don't know if we're going to be completely familiar with, Artemis Fowl is another one of those based off a young adult novel.
We didn't read the book, but we know it's well beloved by a lot of people.
One that neither one of us are going to know at all.
But your kids might be interested in it if you have kids.
Dora the Explorer.
Dora.
Wait, is that how the theme song goes?
Yes.
Why do you know that?
Because reasons. I worked at a toy store at one point.
Oh, that's right. So I've seen a picture of Dora. Supposedly she's more adult. She's a teenager instead of the little kid. But the actress playing Dora the Explorer, I saw her recently in Instant Family. And when I realized who she was, I was like, oh yeah, she looks like she could possibly play a pretty good Dora.
Yep.
Not that I know anything about Dora the Explorer at all, but
I'm just more interested in her talking backpack and map.
Yeah, isn't there a monkey and a canteen or something?
Boots. I don't know about the canteen.
Boots?
Yeah.
Boots, you know way too much about this.
Worked in a toy store. Sold the dolls. One of the other family movies that are coming out that I am actually really anticipating at this point, and funny enough wasn't at one point, Detective Pikachu. I'm of the mindset where I grew up with Pokemon. I love Pokemon. That's my game. You grew up with the NES. I absolutely adore Pokemon. When they said they were making a Pokemon movie, I was like, cool. And they're like, Detective Pikachu. And I was like, what is that game? That's one I've not played. And my hopes were dashed. But after seeing that trailer, my hopes are up. I'm expecting good things out of this. It's gotten a lot of positive feedback on it so far.
So I'm definitely not a Pokemon fan at all. I'm way past the age for Pokemon being interested. But that trailer looks good. Though, I do know because of him some of the Pokemon characters, and I like the way that some of them were shot. Pikachu looks furry, but he still retains that Pikachu look, and I love that.
Yeah, it just looks fantastic to me. I love that world. I love that they're kind of they're still doing it in the actual world from the other original RPG video games. So that's going to be one that I think is going to... Right now, it looks like it could break that video game movie curse, because I don't know if anything else really has yet.
Mm-hmm.
I would love it if Pokemon did that. What movie is not going to break the video game movie curse, though?
Speaking of...
already predicting.
Speaking of, like, video game characters that may not look like their video game character...
Oof. Sonic the Hedgehog
is on steroids, apparently.
He's been working out. I'm really not sure what to think of this yet. Again, we haven't gotten a trailer, and we haven't really gotten a clear image of him yet. Just kind of a silhouette and a poster.
He's all, like, buffed out, like, biceps and quadriceps. And...
So far, does not have as much anticipation behind it as Pokemon does, but they could change that with a trailer, honestly. I don't like the way his silhouette looked, but everything could be changing in it with a trailer. Speaking of things that are fast and furious...
Still doing this, are we?
You see what I did there?
Yes.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious. We're moving into the action genre with Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
That's a mouthful. I want to see them put that on the marquee.
Yeah, I'm just going to call it Hobbs and Shaw from here on out.
So, I like the Fast and Furious movies. They're absurd, they're outlandish, but they're so much fun to watch. The characters have grown on us. They're basically a part of our... what's
family.
That word? Family, that's right.
I was thinking about putting this under family movies, actually. Just for the joke.
Vin Diesel's not in this.
Just for the joke, yeah.
We'll keep that in mind the next time when the next Fast and Furious movie. So, why they're doing a spin-off of just Hobbs and Shaw, I don't know.
Because The Rock sells movies. Dwayne Johnson, excuse me.
I mean, yes, I like those two characters. I like their interaction in the last Fast and Furious movie, but I don't feel the need for them to have their own separate movie. And I know there's a lot of controversy with the other actors from Fast and Furious about that. So
yeah. Here's the thing: I'm still going to see it, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm
probably still going to see it. I'm still probably going to enjoy it. Just as of right now, I'm questioning, like, was this really needed?
Probably not. But they're going to get my money anyway.
Probably.
Speaking of movies that may or may not be needed, and also starring The Rock,
Jumanji. Is this 3 or 2 or 2.5?
Welcome to the Jungle was 2, so this one would be 3.
Or Welcome to the Jungle Part 2.
No,
just
Jumanji 3.
Let's wait until they officially name it, and then we'll officially call it that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Welcome to the Jungle was actually a pretty good movie. I was not a huge fan of the original Jumanji, but Welcome to the Jungle... Yeah, I know, sacrilege. Welcome to the Jungle was actually pretty decent. I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, so Jumanji 3, that's coming out.
Oh, yeah. So John Wick 3 looks fantastic. This is going to be a great movie. We're definitely going to be there, like, day one watching this movie. I'm so hyped for it.
People keep asking him if he's back. Yeah, I'd say he's back.
Oh, yeah. So, Parabellum, it's going to be a great movie. Terminator.
John Wick terminates things, and so does the Terminator.
Yeah. So, another Terminator movie. Now, here's the thing.
Uh-oh.
That last Terminator movie...
Salvation?
Genesis?
Wait, what?
Genesis?
There was another Terminator movie after Salvation?
You mean after Terminator 2?
Ah, good point. Good point.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I like Salvation.
I don't know, Rise of the Machines had... I don't know.
Anyway.
So, after Genesis, that movie was terrible. God, that movie was bad.
I forgot about it.
So, James Cameron, who originated the first 2 Terminator movies, he's back in a producer level.
That's a good move.
Trying to push Terminator 6, whatever we're going to call it. The other nice thing about this is, again, Schwarzenegger is back, because why not?
That's a good move.
But they also brought back Linda Hamilton.
Also a good move.
So the original Sarah Connor. And she's one of, like, the premier, like, awesome women of actions. Like, she's up there with
women, yeah.
Yeah, like with Ripley from Aliens and Mila Jovovich.
Oh, Resident Evil.
That's going to be a really good movie. I like the fact you got Cameron and Linda Hamilton on board for it.
And of course, while Arnold Schwarzenegger is still around and doing movies, you might as well get him too.
My faith in the Terminator series is kind of restored right now.
Oh, yeah. I was going to go. But, yes, I'm on board with it. They've got some good moves working on this one so far, so I'd like to see a trailer and see the kind of the direction they're going with it.
Now, out of all the action stars, though, who is the baddest mother...
Shut your mouth!
Oh, yeah, Shaft.
They're making another Shaft movie.
Yeah.
Hey.
So this one is kind of like... I guess like another sequel based off of the Samuel L. Jackson Shaft from 2000.
But is The Rock in this?
No.
Oh, Samuel L. Jackson. Got it.
So, which the Samuel L. Jackson movie was kind of a spin-off sequel from the actual Richard Roundtree Shaft. Because Richard Roundtree was like his uncle in the Samuel L. Jackson Shaft. And now this one is dealing with Samuel L. Jackson's Shaft's son. Like John Shaft Jr., I believe. So it's nice to see that character brought back, especially because I'm all for Samuel L. Jackson doing an action role where he gets to say MF all over the place. Because, I mean, Sam Jackson's just awesome.
I can dig it.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like Samuel L. Jackson when he played, was it Jules from Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
Oh, just an awesome role. Like anything Sam Jackson, especially with Tarantino involved.
That brings us to our next movie, right?
Oh, I believe it does.
Tarantino. We're going into the drama genre now with... Let me scroll up on my list here.
It's called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
So Leonardo DiCaprio in a Tarantino movie. Oh, with Brad Pitt.
And yeah.
So that's a couple of firsts for this.
It's got a solid cast.
Margot Robbie is in it, dealing like from what I've been able to tell, this is like in the '60s Hollywood, dealing with like the Manson family murders. You told me the cast. You told me the time setting. You told me Tarantino was directing it. I'm on board.
You got an interesting premise. Tarantino is one of those directors we talked about in other videos where if his name's attached to it,
we're probably going to go see it.
Tickets are sold.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lot of hype around this one just because, you know, who knows how many more movies Quentin Tarantino's decided he's going to make, because that number seems to change all the time.
Yeah.
So you want to catch these while you still can in the theaters.
So, I mean, movies like this are seemingly based off of real, true events. I mean, we also got...
Especially like Hollywood ones.
Yeah, we still got like another slew of like biopics and stuff coming out. What is it? There's Judy
Garland.
Which is based on Judy Garland, starring Renee Zellweger.
Yep.
We haven't seen anything except that one still photo of her, and she looks fantastic.
She looks exactly like her.
There's Rocket Man.
In the vein of Bohemian Rhapsody, we have a biopic about Elton John. I'm really not sure how much hype is around this one. There's no hype in me for this one. But
I like Elton John, but I don't know.
See. I'm gonna listen for the early critic reviews on that one for sure.
Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, a biopic of Fred Rogers.
Now, hopefully this one doesn't get snubbed in the Oscars.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in our Oscar video that we're about to film and that will be up pretty soon as well.
Yep.
So, this is Tom Hanks playing Fred Rogers, which, I mean, great casting.
You could cast Tom Hanks as a potato and it would still be great casting.
And I'm gonna go watch it. I like Tom Hanks.
He's been playing like every like white American role model of some sort in history at this point.
Pretty much, yeah.
He had Walt Disney, Captain Sully,
Forrest Gump, with the exception of Forrest Gump is a fictional character, but has lived through historic, like, non-fictional parts of American history.
That's true. Going off the rails like Trolley.
Yeah, we are. Speaking of rails and moving vehicles, Ford versus Ferrari. So it's a biopic about Ford versus Ferrari. I don't know too much about this.
There's not a whole lot. A little bit of the cast has come out already, and so far it looks like it's got a pretty stacked cast for it. The movie has my interest right now. I want to see more from it. I'm waiting for a trailer, and then we can kind of look at that from there, but definitely one to watch for right now.
I'm going to say Fighting With My Family.
Movies that do have a trailer. This one's about Paige.
Yeah, from WWE.
Yeah.
It looks like it's drama, but it also has a very strong amount of comedy in it, which looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's being like produced or like The Rock has a hand in it besides just starring in it.
I'm not a huge wrestling fan. Like, I don't really follow anything in terms of wrestling, but the movie itself does look interesting. It looks entertaining in the way they want to tell her story.
And I think what really makes it weird is that this movie's being directed by Stephen Merchant. Why? Like, it doesn't have anything to do with wrestling as far as I know. I guess he's a wrestling fan?
I can see a little bit of the comedy that they've put into the trailers. I understand that. He was one of the original creators of The Office series.
And I like his comedic roles that I've seen him in. I thought it weird when it was announced he was going to be in Logan, and I was like, okay. I don't see any comedy in that, but he actually did really good as Caliban. So
Yeah. So, I mean, it looks like it's going to be an interesting movie. You mentioned this next one earlier in this video, Little Women. Why should we be hyped about Little Women?
So Little Women is based off of a very much beloved novel. Unfortunately, I don't know too much about it. It wasn't a novel that I was forced to read when I was in grade school. So therefore, I don't know. I do know it's got a huge following. It has been made, if I remember correctly, it's been made into a movie before. If not a movie, it's definitely been like a TV miniseries, I believe.
Sounds about right.
Something like that. So this has been adapted for the screen before.
Yeah, and it's the second movie out for the director Greta Gerwig also. When she did Lady Bird that first time around.
Oh, and so Saoirse Ronan is in this
I was
as
gonna say,
well.
I think Saoirse Ronan is actually rejoining with Greta in this movie too.
The other thing I will point out with Little Women is it's slated to come out towards the end of December, which the end of December has become the new summer blockbuster time frame.
Apparently.
Like, big movies are being released.
Aquaman.
Yeah, see, now that was an appropriate time to mention Aquaman. Good job. Like, big movies are being released in December, and so therefore it seems like there's a lot of good hype just based off of the release date of this movie.
Yeah. We'll have to check that one out when we get a trailer and everything for it too.
Now, other movies, like, based off of something, I guess, similar like it,
we never paid attention to?
Downton Abbey.
Not our cup of tea.
Ha! Funny. I like Maggie Smith. She's a fantastic actress. And that's about all my knowledge of Downton Abbey.
Is it on the BBC? I think it was.
Or PBS or something like that.
So the show is very beloved. There's a lot of people who follow it almost religiously.
Happy Hogan loves it.
Yeah, that's true. So it's one that's got a lot of hype around it. So if you're a fan of the show, keep an eye out. They're actually making a movie of it now.
Also coming out in December is going to be a movie version of Cats.
Magical Mr. Mistopheles.
Yeah.
I said that right? Sure.
Never was there.
He's got to roll through the song in his head.
Cat's so clever as
I
magical
like Cats.
Mr. Mistopheles.
I don't know if I like the idea of them taking the Broadway show and making a movie out of it.
Here's the thing. The Broadway show, I've seen it. It's... for the most part, there's a very thin story to Cats. Most of the show is just them introducing these cats. They're all a group of cats that are all in one jellicle area, I believe is what it's referred to, and they introduce these cats one at a time through song. There is a thin story about, like, was it the cavity cat trying to disrupt something or another?
This is all foreign language to me, honestly.
There's Grisvelda. I know I'm mispronouncing that, but the older cat who's being, like, shunned by the rest of the cats, and she's the one who was famous for singing "Memory," which is probably the biggest song
from School of Rock.
No, well, yes, but the original done by Elaine Page and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know how this is going to translate into an actual movie, if there's going to be more of a storyline, or if they might do more of just a straight translation.
And are they going CGI, or are they going heavy makeup like the Broadway show?
This better be heavy makeup, because the makeup of Cats is...
It's one of the reasons to see it.
Yes. The makeup job on them alone is worth seeing Cats.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. We've been a fan of musicals here and there throughout the last few years. I mean, La La Land, Greatest Showman, movies that have Cats. Don't know. We'll see.
Timeless classic one is probably one of Andrew Lloyd Webber's most popular musicals. Outside of Jesus Christ Superstar.
And I'm surprised it hasn't...
Phantom of the Opera.
It hasn't yet been adapted in a blockbuster-type format, so...
No, we had a home video release of the Broadway, still done on the stage and whatnot, but that was about as much as we've gotten so far.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Not doing a segue here, because there's no real way to segue from Cats to Knives.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah. Claws? I don't know. We don't know much about this movie. Knives Out, why does this have hype around it, besides the fact that Rian Johnson is attached to it, and he's famously one who did Last Jedi?
I don't know. Like, Rian Johnson, other than the Star Wars movie, pretty good director.
He did Looper, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I liked Looper. The main thing that I know has got me hyped around it is so far it's being described as a good old-fashioned classic whodunit murder mystery, which I absolutely love those. Being able to sit there in the movie and trying to guess who done it. Like we saw, was it Murder on the Orient Express last year?
Yeah.
The Hercule Poirot movie.
Yeah, you said a good one.
And, yeah. And while I thought it wasn't bad, I was still able to sit there and try to play along and figure out who did what in that. And so I'm looking forward to another good one.
The last good one I saw was Clue.
Clue was fantastic.
So I am actually excited about that premise. I think that premise sounds really interesting, especially nowadays. And then, so the last movie on our drama list here, I had a hard time with this one because at the beginning we said the superhero genre and not comic book movie. And so I didn't really have a way to plug this one in the superhero, but Joker. They're making a Joker movie.
Yeah, which is being directed by the guy who did the Hangover movies. It's just kind of weird.
So he brings that up, and I've brought this up before, is directors who direct comedy aren't always bad at drama also. I mean, we have, for example,
Green Book,
or Farrelly was, directing Dumb and Dumber and whatnot, moved over to Green Book.
Mm-hmm. And did a fantastic job.
And we liked it. We really enjoyed it. But then you have also, as an example, Adam McKay, who is known for, was it Anchorman?
The Anchorman movies.
And all those kinds of genre, moving over to The Big Short and Vice, and getting just critically acclaimed for all of these movies. So I don't think saying Todd Phillips directing it is going to knock it down at all.
Now, I will mention that Todd Phillips also did, was it Due Date with Zach Galifianakis and Robert Downey Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
And that was a pretty good movie. And it was more, I would say that movie was more heavily leaning towards drama, with just Zach Galifianakis kind of providing the comedy of that movie.
Galifianakising around.
Yes.
I'm surprised I was able to say that right.
Mm-hmm.
The real thing that's interesting here, though, is two things, actually. Is it part of the DCEU or the Worlds of DC universe that they've established?
Is it really a part of that?
Not really, but they might find a way to do it. Who knows? But as of right now, it doesn't sound like it is. It sounds like it's extra. And Joaquin Phoenix, who is one of probably the best working actors today. So...
yeah, so then the question comes down, is this Joker another Joker that's in the same vein as the DC Joker, or is this before he becomes the actual Batman Joker? That's another one of those. I think we're waiting for a trailer to kind of help flesh it out.
There's definitely a lot up in the air right now. Seeing some footage will definitely help out with that one a lot. But Joker with Batman, it kind of falls under sci-fi a little bit.
Well, I mean,
sort of.
Especially if you're going to be going back and talking about comic book movies. Mm-hmm. I mean, we could just translate that straight into a comic book sci-fi movie, being the Men in Black
International.
We're doing another Men in Black that this time does not have Tommy Lee Jones or Will Smith in it.
It has Thor and Valkyrie.
Yeah, so we get to see these two teamed up again. We've gotten one trailer from it, which the trailer looked kind of fun and playful.
It's okay. The thing here, though, is that I actually really like Chris Hemsworth. I like Tessa Thompson. The two of them kind of are helping to sell this movie to me a little bit more. And so, I'm looking at this one thinking, this will be one that could go either way. I mean, the last couple Men in Black movies have kind of been... so we don't know what we're going to get going into this one. Now, another sci-fi movie that is actually coming out here pretty soon, and when I say that, I mean it should have come out last year.
Another one of those that should have come out already,
but was pushed back. Alita Battle Angel. Now, I believe this one is based off of, I want to say it was a manga called Battle Angel Alita. I got to be honest, it looks really intriguing, especially because right now you have just some fantastic CGI work on it. Robert Rodriguez is the director, which is interesting, and it's produced by James Cameron.
So Cameron and Rodriguez together already sounds like a winning combination.
That's a really interesting combination. On top of that, you also have stars Christoph Waltz and Mahershala Ali. Those two right there in the movie sell the ticket to me. That is a big thing for this movie, as well as just the fact that it looks like they've taken their time with this property and have tried to
Definitely taken some time. It's been a year.
Try to fine-tune it and make it look as gorgeous as possible. So I'm not familiar with the original source material, but the movie itself does look very intriguing, and I'm actually kind of excited for it.
And then we come into some of the sci-fi sequels. One of the biggest ones is Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Get it? Because he's a huge lizard.
Yes, he's a biggin. So we got Godzilla fighting, was it Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah?
Is he fighting Mothra, or is Mothra on our side?
Hey, at least we learned how to pronounce King Ghidorah.
Ghidorah?
Damn it!
Oh no, it's King Ghidorah.
Oh, whatever.
That is a movie commit. Never mind. Yeah, so I'm actually really excited for this. I really enjoyed the 2014 Godzilla. I enjoyed King Kong Skull Island, which is attached just...
Because the next one after this is supposed to be Godzilla versus Kong.
So there's...
Spoiler alert, Godzilla's going to live through this movie.
Oh, what? So, well, I mean, he could get dusted and then come back. Hey... So I'm actually interested in this because you got the big monsters fighting each other, and that's something that sells tickets. You want to talk about selling tickets to me? Big monster fights.
Yep.
And then just the lead into Godzilla versus King Kong. All right, sold. Fine. Yep. Got it. We're good. I'm ready.
So
we end this list off with Aquaman.
No, stop pushing Aquaman.
It was alright. I enjoyed it.
So, we teased it earlier, talking about, like, that Avengers was one of the two biggest movies this year. The second biggest movie is going to be Star Wars Episode 9.
Oh, they're making another Star Wars movie, huh?
Yeah, someone decided to keep that one going.
Interesting.
So, definitely looking forward to it, because this is going to be the end of the sequel trilogy. So this will be the end of the story of Rey, Finn, Kylo Ren.
And not to be like super anticlimactic with this, but we are actually ending this list off on a movie that we know almost next to nothing about right now.
Yeah.
What's funny is that could change before we even put out this video.
I mean,
to be honest.
They could be dropping information about this as we're filming this video right now.
We wouldn't know.
I mean, it's really late at night,
they
so probably
are.
not, but...
I mean, tomorrow. They could drop it tomorrow. You still wouldn't have seen this video yet.
Yep. I probably wouldn't be done editing this video yet.
So, I mean, right now we still have the working title. It's just Episode 9. We don't know what the full title is going to be or what the story is really going to be about.
There's rumor speculation in which we might see a trailer during the Super Bowl. I don't know if that is...
There's a lot of... it's dumb to say. There's a lot of hype around Star Wars. Of course there's a lot of hype around Star Wars.
There's built-in hype. I mean, Star Wars comes with hype.
But, you know, we are coming off of Solo, which I was not a fan of.
Not many were.
And we're coming off of Last Jedi, which I was a fan of, but not many were.
Not many were. It was very divisive movies.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready to see a trailer. I'm ready to find out some information about this one. It's been a little bit since we've gotten the last Star Wars movie, especially since Solo came out earlier last year. So it's going to be going on almost a year before we've heard anything Star Wars related. So I'm really interested in seeing the direction they go in this, and hopefully we get a trailer here pretty soon.
Yep.
We have a pretty solid list of movies this year, and I'm going to have a pretty empty wallet.
Yep.
So we want to thank you guys for sticking with us through this super long video of just a list of movies that we're all looking forward to, that you should be looking forward to for different reasons. And, you know, it's a lot to sit through. I mean, we're probably going on almost a 40-minute video here.
I don't know.
You got to edit it, so we'll see how long it turns out at the end. But, yeah, really appreciate you sticking through this and giving us some support.
Yeah, so please like and comment down below. Let us know what you think of this list. Were there any movies that you're hyped for that we did not mention? Let us know down below. If you would like to clarify on some of these movies that we did mention that we might not have mentioned all the details.
He'll read the comments, I won't.
Let us know down below.
I will read the comments.
Yeah, be a nice YouTuber.
I'm a nice YouTuber.
Otherwise, there is subscribe up here, and then there's also a bunch of other videos to watch over here. And as always,
stay classy, San Diego.
And the rest of the world, too.
And all of you. Yeah.
Later.
See ya.
Hey, for comedies, we forgot to mention What Men Want.
I didn't forget that.